Ray Petty Meccanica hasn't been going too long. I've been in the trade for over 30 years. But we set up Meccanica in Greenwich in this purpose-built place to really try and capitalise on what we want to do, which is the restoration and the high-end service and repair of Ducatis. Oh, when did I start with bikes? It's almost so long ago, I can't even remember myself. I guess it goes back to being 12, 13 years old and getting an old scooter, getting it going, driving it up and down the garden at my mother's. The first Ducati I owned, first of all, was an 860 GTS, and they were almost mythical when I was younger. In the 70s, they were super rare, super expensive, and super exclusive. And so when the chance came to own one, I did. I didn't have a clue what I was letting myself in for. Mostly never got where I wanted to go because I couldn't maintain it properly, so on and so forth. Well, it's a 1978 Dharma SS. There are a number of items that the customer asked us to look at. The plan for the restoration is sorting out the mechanical side of it with a rebore and shimming the heads, fitting some original equipment that we've managed to find, and generally tidying it up. The engine looked it looked okay. It was in above average condition for one of these. No two of these motors are the same. No two of the cylinder heads are the same. It's absolutely one of the attractions of Ducatis. Yeah. They genuinely were, especially in these days, hand built. Both the valves are closed, as you can see, and we see if we've got any movement. Now, that one has a slight bit of movement, but not enough. That one has none at all. So what would happen, as this engine warms up, expansion takes place, and because there's no room for expansion on here, that valve would probably not seal correctly. So the chances of this motor idling correctly are pretty slim. Okay, this exposes the shim. Now this is the shim. What it is that the shim selection that this requires are so small that it's not even in the kit anymore. So we're starting to grind down shims, and when you start to grind down shims, you've really got to be careful. There is a limit to what you can take off. If you take too much material off of this shim, then it can become vulnerable to shattering. So what we need to now is to ascertain the size of this shim. So we take the micrometer and we'll give it a little measure. This is a 185, so we're getting down quite small here. So if we try a 180, and we're going to rub that down to 180. As you can see, it hasn't taken too much, we hope. We pop it back in the micrometer. We're down to 182. Right, let's pop that in and have a look. Well, the problem with old Ducatis is they're very mechanical, as we talked about earlier. They've got a lot of moving parts. They take a lot of setting up and a lot of maintenance. And the maintenance involves an ever-diminishing amount of people who are capable or willing to look at them and deal with their problems. It's akin to running a classic car. Okay, so we're just having a look now, see if we've managed to achieve a clearance on this. And we haven't, so we need to take some more material off. If it gets too much, then I'll have to say to the customer that I recommend you having your valve seats replaced. And this, again, it's indicative of a 40-odd-year-old cylinder head. You know. What happens is, obviously, you've got massive valve clearance and you've got pieces of debris floating around, which can be catastrophic. So it's 171.9, which is pretty close to what we thought we might need. Okay, now you can, I don't know if you can see that. We've pushed our luck there, but we've got away with it. We have a bit of clearance, and we have enough clearance. That'll live to go another day.